おじいさんのアニメクラブ
The month of May 2026 saw the 10th Crunchyroll Anime Awards at the Grand Prince Hotel Takanawa in Tokyo, Japan, and boy was there a lot of fun to be had. Welcome to a rare segment on the internet that will be focusing on the positive aspects of the show in place of all the negativity filling the space. If you want in on that discouraging discourse that's lamenting the apparently bleak state of anime over here, you won't have far to look. But why not instead geek out with me for a minute about some of the things that I thought were awesome about the fourth consecutive event taking place in the motherland of anime? And spoiler alert, it was the music. I've really been looking forward to talking about this. Instead of waking up at 4 a.m. Eastern to catch the event live, I elected to watch the replay later in the day so that my family could join in on the fun. And boy did we have fun. Most of it revolves around the musical performers. Right after the pre-show, there was a stellar medley by the Tokyo Philharmonic Orchestra that paid homage to all the previous Anime of the Year winners. Conducted by Hirofumi Kurita, the orchestra performed the music arranged by the primary composer Kazunori Miyake, and what a musical journey through time it was. I had so much fun going down memory lane as they played music from each of the previous year's winners. Kicking the show off was a classical rendition of Solo Leveling's first opening, Level, originally by Hiroyuki Sawano and Tomorrow X together. It was a super dynamic performance with flavorful percussion, string plucking, and a breakdown of the core melody on violins before flying back into the performance like a big wave hitting your toes at the beach. I was really impressed, and I got to dancing in my chair right away while imagining how this rendition would fit nicely in any James Bond film. I didn't realize I should have put a tux on before hitting play on the YouTube VOD. 2025 gave way to 2024's winner, Jujutsu Kaisen, with the orchestra's version of Season 2's first opener, Ao no Sumika, Where Our Blue Is by Tatsuya Kitani. This was a nasty version of the song because that walking bass line was front and center while being dashed forward by a flying carriage of saxophones carrying the song forward flawlessly. Next, we blended seamlessly into 2023's winner, Cyberpunk Edgerunners opening theme by Franz Ferdinand called This Fire. It was fun being reminded of this because I had forgotten that this song came out on their first album back when this OG-san was still a junior in high school. Miyake-sensei's arrangement of this song really focused on the staccatoed motif, giving every instrument a chance to sink into the rhythm before walking right into Boku no Senso, or My War, which was Attack on Titan's final season Part 1 opening by Shinsei Kamate-chan. It was a really cool sweeping take on the theme song that deviated from the unsettling marching band flavor that the original had. We kept rolling back in time to 2021 as saxophones led us into another JJK theme and a personal favorite of mine, Kai Kai Kitan. Floating overhead like angels in the sky were high whole notes by the strings section while the timpani player got her own close-up. This was definitely a jazzy take on the theme that definitely had a different flavor from the original. The electric bass player was also having a field day on this track. We continued on to the year 2020, the year that Demon Slayer ruled the Crunchyroll Awards. Lisa's opening for Season 1 of Kimetsu no Yaiba will forever be iconic, and the TPO's performance of Gurenge would have had me singing along even if I had been sat at the white cloth tables with a glass of fancy wine and a bow tie. 2019's winner, Devilman Crybaby, got its own classical rendition of Man Human by Denki Groove, which was certainly interesting to hear with non-electric instruments, but my dude playing the tenor saxophone in the black beret and the thick-rimmed glasses was absolutely killing it. I set both my former librarian wife and ChatGPT on the prowl to find out who this guy is, but we couldn't find his identity anywhere. So I'm putting a bounty out on info for that, with the reward being either a beer on me or a Naruto fist bump at the next anime convention OG-san might find you at. Continuing our travel down memory lane, the orchestra performed the original opening theme for Season 1 of Made in Abyss, which had a special place for the xylophone player. I wasn't even thinking at the time what it was building up to, but when the song switched to the 2017 winner, I was absolutely floored. As the intro to Yuri on Ice's opening theme flourished in a crescendo, none other than Dean Fujioka took the stage with a microphone in hand, ready to make history right in that moment. Everyone in the living room with me that night can attest to me jumping off the couch and singing along, arms to the ceiling, don't stop us now, the moment of truth, we were born to make history. Yeah, it sounds a lot better when the song's playing while I'm singing, but hey, quit hating. It legitimately made me tear up because it was such a beautiful moment, and that song means so much to me personally. And that's what I'm talking about when I'm expressing how awesome I thought this year's Crunchyroll Awards were. This is why we love and celebrate anime, because it makes us feel things so intensely, and it helps us make sense of the confusing and difficult parts of our lives. So let's celebrate that kind of aspect of this show. While writing down my impressions of this show, I got misty-eyed again because I felt this performance was so powerful, and it perfectly set the stage for all of us to celebrate the art form that we love with all of our hearts. So that's why I definitely wanted to discuss this award show as a beacon of light in a dark sea full of people decrying the event. Stepping up perfectly in time, the narrator echoed the thoughts that the previous song evoked when she said, "For 10 years, we've honored the stories that move us and the creators who inspire us." As someone who thinks that music in anime is just as important as the voice acting and the animation itself, I personally wanted to celebrate that aspect of the Crunchyroll Awards as it was personally the main draw of the event for me this year. So let's talk about the rest of the performers, and I'm going to save the best for last, even though it's out of chronological order because I have an OG-san story to tell about it. For now, let's move on to the musical artist that was present to commemorate the 10th anniversary of My Hero Academia and the series' conclusion, a band that I'd personally like to present the award for worst possible band name in all of history, Porno Graffitti. When Akihito Okano sang the first lines from The Day, I was blown away by how it sounded as clear as a recording. This was an amazing performance that perfectly captured the energy of the song. Funny little story about this song, when it first came out, I wasn't a huge fan because I thought that the end of the chorus was a bit of a rip-off of the supergroup opening theme to One Punch Man. But 10 years later, here I am pumping my fist to a song that has become an iconic classic for fans of anime of every generation. Immediately after this song, they performed the Revo, the 14th and final opening of My Hero Academia, the word playing on a full revolution of the story's beginning and end. Symbolically, this was a beautiful thing to see as a celebration for what ended up being the winner of 2026's Anime of the Year, the final season of MHA. I don't think I can say enough about the professional quality of this performance. If you haven't seen it yet, please do yourself a favor by finding the director's cut on Crunchyroll's YouTube channel. Next, I'd like to talk about the performance of Haruka Kanata by Asian Kung Fu Generation, the second opening theme for Naruto. Please excuse this OG-san for pointing this out, but this song originally came out 23 years ago, and now you feel as old as I am. And that's pretty old. They also performed Skins from Dr. Stone, Science Future. But looking back to the past, Haruka Kanata perfectly captured the energy of the time and the youthful presence of the ninja that we will never forget. The performance was a wonderful way to honor the spirit of anime that has entertained and inspired us before and will continue to do so until the day that our own stories end. But enough about stories ending. I'd like to tell you all about how a story began. The musical performance I was most looking forward to at this show was Yoko Takahashi. To commemorate the 30-year anniversary of Neon Genesis Evangelion, she performed what has become officially recognized as the most sung karaoke song of the last 30 years, A Cruel Angel's Thesis. Complete with awesome purple and green themed Evangelion Unit 1 outfits, she expertly performed this song with synchronized background dancers. Now let me switch gears and tell you another story about a small little anime convention 12 years ago, where I was helping a friend host a panel called Beweebit, an otaku variety show. As an audience interactive panel, one of the games or contests, if you will, was an anime theme song lip sync contest. As I sat at the table judging the contestants, I saw a young woman cosplaying as a skitty fearlessly come up. She took the mic and lip synced the very song performed at this year's Crunchyroll Anime Awards. And I remember thinking to myself at that moment that she was exactly the sort of woman that I would want to marry someday. As I was sitting on the couch watching this performance, I only had to look to my right and saw the very same woman singing along with Yoko Takahashi because, as it turns out, I really did end up marrying that woman. It was such a beautiful way for this old OG-san to look back on a fond memory while celebrating the anime that's touched us this past year with a look backwards and even on into the future. I really hope that you've enjoyed this recap specifically of the music of the 2026 Crunchyroll Anime Awards, and that in the thick cloud of negativity surrounding it on the interwebs, that you were able to find something memorable in its telling. I know it brought a tear to my eyes more than once. And with this segment ending, I'd like to ask you, What was your favorite part of the Crunchyroll Anime Awards this year? What was your anime of the past year if you could have been the person to decide the winner? Do you have any other stories about how anime music has changed your life? I'd love to hear your thoughts and may even respond to them in a future video.
おじいさんのアニメクラブ
The audio you just heard was from OG-san's Anime Club podcast, which you can watch or listen to on YouTube, as well as other podcast platforms listed in the description below. I really hope you'll join the Anime Club by subscribing to this channel so you don't miss out on future anime and manga related videos just like this one, and I'd love to hear your thoughts as well. Until next time, see ya, Space Cowboy.